I was laughing when my phone buzzed because Maddie had just said, if we ever break up it would destroy me, and I believed her. Hold that thought, I told her, checking the screen. It was a text from an unknown number. She's with me right now. Ask her about the blue jacket. My chest went tight. Maddie, did you bring your blue jacket tonight? She froze. Why? Did you? Her smile slipped for half a second. Yeah. Why? I stood up. I need to talk. Alex, what's wrong? I think you know. She crossed her arms. You're being dramatic. I showed her the phone. Who is he? She stared at the screen. Where did you get that? Who is he? She sat down slowly. It's not what you think. That's what everyone says. Alex, calm down. I am calm. Answer me. She rubbed her forehead. His name is Tyler. My ears rang. How long? A few months. A few months, I repeated. We've been together a year. I didn't plan it. But you kept it going. She looked away. Yes. I laughed and it came out broken. So what am I? She hesitated. You were my first real try at something serious. Your try. Don't twist it. Like you twisted me? Alex. Say it. She swallowed. You were kind of a trial run. The room felt smaller. A trial run for what? For knowing what I want. And what you want is him. She nodded. I think so. I grabbed my jacket. You said you loved me. I did. I do. That's not love. It was real at the time. Then why does it feel like a lie now? She didn't answer. I walked outside. The night was loud but I felt empty. My phone rang. Mark. Hey man, what's up? I think my life just exploded. What happened? She cheated. Oh hell. Where are you? Outside her place. Stay there. I'm coming. I went back in. Mark's on his way. Maddie stood up. Alex, we can talk. We are talking. I never meant to hurt you. You did. She took a step closer. I didn't know how to end it. So you lied instead. She whispered, yes. I shook my head. You said I was your future. I was confused. Convenient. Her eyes filled. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. She grabbed my hand. Please don't leave like this. I pulled away. Let go. She did. Mark arrived. You okay? No. He looked at Maddie. What did you do? She said nothing. Come on, Mark said to me. At the car I said, I loved her. He nodded. I know. We drove in silence. At my apartment, Mark sat with me. What are you going to do? I don't know. You deserve better. Did I? Yes. My phone buzzed again. Another message, I'm sorry. She never told you about me. I typed back, she did now. Then I blocked the number. I lay on the floor. My head hurt. My phone buzzed. Maddie, can we talk tomorrow? I replied, no. She sent, I didn't mean it like that. I wrote, you meant it. Silence. I stared at the ceiling. Every memory felt fake. The trips. The jokes. The promises. Mark said, this isn't the end of you. It feels like it. It's the start of something else. I don't want something else. I know. I whispered, I trusted her. You still can trust yourself. I closed my eyes. The words trial run burned in my mind. I didn't sleep. When morning came, I realized nothing I believed about love felt safe anymore. And that scared me more than losing her. Mark made coffee. You should eat. I can't. Try. I took a bite. What if I was just that forgettable? You weren't. She said it so easy. Because she's broken. I feel broken. Not the same. My phone buzzed again. Maddie, please answer. I showed Mark. What do I say? Say the truth. I typed, you used me. I deserved honesty. She replied, I didn't know how to choose. I wrote, you already did. She sent, can we meet? I stared. What if I go? Do you want to? No. Then don't. I typed, no. She sent, I'm sorry, Alex. I answered, goodbye. I turned the phone off. Mark smiled. That was strong. I feel weak. That's normal. I leaned back. Everything we had feels like a joke. It wasn't a joke. It was a lesson. I didn't ask for it. None of us do. I stood by the window. I don't know who I am without her. You're about to find out. I breathed out. I'm scared. Good, he said. That means you still care. I'm not done yet. No, you're just starting. Right now. I woke up staring at the ceiling and said, this can't be real, even though it was. My phone buzzed. Mark, you alive? I typed barely. He called. Open the door. I don't want company. Too bad. He knocked until I opened. You look awful. I feel worse. Come eat. I'm not hungry. You haven't eaten since yesterday. I don't care. He dropped onto the couch. Maddie posted pictures last night. I stiffened. With him? Yeah. Of course she did. She looks happy. I laughed without humor. She always did. Alex, talk to me. What do you want me to say? That you're hurting. I'm drowning. He leaned forward. Then grabbed my hand. I don't know how. You just did by opening the door. I sat across from him. Every song reminds me of her. Change the song. Every street reminds me of her. Take new roads. Every memory feels poisoned. Then stop drinking from it. I rubbed my face. She told me I was a trial run. Mark's jaw tightened. That's cruel. It's honest. No. It's empty. She looks fine. She's pretending. Maybe I was never important. You were everything. She just didn't know how to hold it. My phone buzzed. A photo from a mutual friend. Maddie laughing at brunch. I whispered, how does she smile like that? Some people run from their damage. I'm stuck inside mine. That's because you're real. At work my boss said, Alex, you missed the deadline. I'm sorry. You said that yesterday. I know. Is something going on? Yes. Fix it or I'll replace you. I nodded. Understood. At lunch Mark texted, meet me after work. I replied, I don't want to. We're meeting. At the cafe he said, you're disappearing. I'm tired. You're broken. Thanks. I'm serious. So am I. Do you want revenge? I hesitated. Sometimes. What stops you? Me. Why? Because I don't know what it would cost. He studied me. What do you want? Peace. Then build it. How? Start with control. Over what? Over you. That night I sat alone scrolling old messages. Maddie, you're my forever. Maddie, I trust you. Maddie, promise me we won't ever lie. I whispered, you already did. The doorbell rang. It was Lena from work. Mark said you weren't answering. I'm fine. You don't look fine. I don't feel fine. She Saturday, do you want tea? I want everything to stop hurting. She nodded. That I can't fix. But I can stay. We talked about nothing and everything. When she left she said, you don't deserve what happened. I keep thinking maybe I do. No. You were honest. That matters. After midnight I opened a notebook. I wrote, Day 1 she lied about Tyler. She smiled while doing it. I kept writing. She said I was her future. She said I was safe. My hand shook. The next morning Mark called. How are you? Still here. That's progress. At work my boss said, better today? Trying. At lunch I saw Maddie across the street holding Tyler's hand. She looked at me and froze. I didn't wave. Tyler said something. She looked away. My chest burned. Mark said, you okay? No. Do you want to scream? Yes. Do it. I whispered, I hate what she did to me. That's allowed. I loved her. That's human. She broke me. Then rebuild. That night I wrote more. She kissed me goodbye the morning she met him. She said I was the only one. She said she'd never hurt me. I stopped. I stared at the words. I wasn't crying anymore. I was recording. Mark texted, you busy? Writing. About her? About me. He replied with a thumbs up. I kept going. She watched me trust her. She let me believe. She chose herself. I closed the notebook. I whispered, this isn't the end. My reflection in the mirror looked empty, but my eyes were steady. I didn't know what I would do yet. I only knew I would not disappear. I stood outside Maddie's apartment with my phone in my hand and said, if I go in there and scream, I'll lose myself. Mark replied, and if you don't? I might finally find myself. He nodded. Then choose that. I turned away. That night I told Mark, I'm done chasing closure. He said, what's the plan? I rebuild. Where do you start? By quitting. Your job. Yes. The next morning my boss said, you're serious? I am. You're walking away from stability. I'm walking toward myself. He shook his head. Good luck. At the gym I stared at the weights and whispered, I hate this place. A guy nearby laughed. Everyone does it first. I lifted anyway. My arms shook. I said, this hurts. He replied, so does staying the same. After work Mark texted, proud of you. I answered, I'm scared. He wrote, that means it matters. 2 days later at my new job I met Lena. She said, you look lost. I am. She smiled. Welcome to the club. I'm Alex. Lena. Any advice? Don't pretend you're fine. I wasn't planning to. Good. At lunch I said, I just left everything behind. She replied, then you're already braver than most people here. I told her, I was betrayed. She said, then you survived something important. That night Maddie texted, are you avoiding me? I typed, yes. She sent why. I wrote, because I choose me. No reply. Mark called. How do you feel? Stronger. That was fast. I'm tired of feeling weak. The next week I sold my old car. The banker said, new account? Yes. Fresh start? Yes. At the gym the same guy said, you're back. I'm staying. Lena watched me struggle with the treadmill and laughed. You're dying. I'm improving. Same thing. One night Mark said, Maddie posted about karma. I laughed. She thinks she won. She doesn't see the storm. I don't want revenge. You're choosing something better. I'm choosing control. At work Lena said, you're different today. How? Calmer. Because I stopped begging for answers. Good. Some doors close so better ones can open. I said, you talk like you've been through hell. She nodded. And back. I ran 5 miles that night. I couldn't breathe. I didn't stop. I texted Mark, I finished. He replied, that's my guy. When I saw Maddie at the grocery store she froze. I said, hi. She said, you look good. So do you. Can we talk? Not today. She watched me walk away. I didn't look back. Lena said, you okay? Yes. Are you lying? No. She smiled. Proud of you. That weekend Mark said, you're changing. I have to. Why? Because staying broken is easier, but I want better. On Sunday I cleaned my apartment. I threw away old photos. I kept my notebook. I wrote, today I chose myself. Monday morning Maddie sent, I miss you. I stared at it. I deleted it. At lunch Lena said, you look lighter. I am. What changed? I stopped waiting for her to fix me. She raised her coffee. To that. I lifted mine. To rebuilding. After work Mark asked, you coming out? No. Why not? I'm tired. Good tired or sad tired? Hope tired. He laughed. That's new. That night I stood in front of the mirror and said, you're still here. I believed it. I didn't know how far I would go. I only knew I had started. And this time I wasn't turning back. I woke up before sunrise and said to myself, I will not waste today. Mark called while I was tying my shoes. He said, you running again? I said, yes. He said, good. Keep moving. At the park I passed the old art wall and stopped. I whispered, I used to paint here. A woman walking her dog said, you should again. I said, maybe. I kept running but the idea stayed. Later Mark met me for coffee. He said, I told my cousin about you. Marketing firm downtown. They want an interview. I said, already? He smiled. Tomorrow. I said, thank you. He said, earn it. At work Lena waved. She said, you look like you found something. I said, maybe myself. She laughed. I said, I used to paint. She said, so start. I said, I quit everything when life got busy. She said, life stays busy. You decide what survives. That night I opened my old sketchbook. I said, I forgot how much this mattered. Mark texted, how goes rebuilding? I sent a photo of the page. He replied with fire emojis. Next morning the interview went well. The manager said, we like your energy. I said, I like your office. He said, we will call. I left smiling. Back at work I met Jason. He leaned on my desk and said, you knew. I said, yes. He said, don't get in the way. I said, of what? He smirked. Of winning. I felt the same cold edge Maddie used. I said, I am not competing with you. He said, everyone is. At lunch Lena whispered, that guy is trouble. I said, I noticed. She said, be careful. I said, I will be smarter. Days passed. Running. Painting. Writing. Small wins stacked. Mark said, "You're glowing." I said, "I am breathing again." He said, "That's dangerous." I said, "So is staying broken." One night Jason said, "You think you're special?" I said, "No. I think I am learning." He laughed. I said, "That's fine." The firm called. The manager said, "Welcome aboard." I said, "When?" He said, "Monday." I said, "I accept." I met Mark that night. He said, "Told you." I said, "This feels unreal." He said, "You earned this." I posted a photo of my painting. Comments poured in. Someone wrote, "You have talent." I whispered, "Thank you," to the empty room. At the grocery store I saw Maddie's favorite cereal. My chest tightened. I said, "Not today." I walked past. Later Jason said he heard about my offer. He said, "Enjoy it while it lasts." I said, "Watch me." Lena said, "You okay?" I said, "Yes." She said, "You're smiling." I said, "I forgot how that feels." That weekend I cleaned my closet and found an envelope. Maddie's handwriting. I sat on the floor. Mark called. I said, "I found something." He said, "Open it." Inside the letter read, "Alex, you make me feel safe. Promise you will always be here." I laughed. I tore it in half. I said out loud, "I choose me." The pieces fell like dust. I stood up steady. Tomorrow I keep building. I met Lena for a long walk. She said, "Tell me everything." I said, "I am afraid of failing." She said, "Failing means trying." I said, "I am afraid of remembering." She said, "Remembering means healing." I said, "I still see her sometimes." She said, "Then look through her." At the new office orientation the trainer said, "Teamwork matters." Jason whispered to me, "Try to keep up." I said, "I plan to lead." He rolled eyes. Mark called after work. He said, "Proud?" I said, "Hungry?" He said, "Dinner?" We talked about money. He said, "Budgeting is power." I said, "Teach me." He did. Later I ran again. The same woman waved. She said, "You paint yet?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Good." I wrote for an hour. I wrote about fear. I wrote about strength. I wrote about choosing tomorrow. That night Lena texted, "You still awake?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Want company?" I said, "Come over." We talked about dreams. She said, "You will get there." I said, "I am already moving." Next morning Jason said, "The boss wants you." I said, "Thanks." The boss said, "Strong first week." I said, "Thank you." I went home and pinned my painting on the wall. I said, "This is me now." I looked at the mirror and smiled. I said, "I am not her shadow. I am my own light." I called Mark. I said, "I am okay." He said, "I know." I went to bed early. I whispered, "Tomorrow?" I woke calm. Coffee tasted better. Music sounded clearer. I said, "I am ready." Outside the sun rose. I ran once more. The path felt open. I texted Lena, "Good morning." She replied, "Smile." I did. At work Jason nodded once. I nodded back. No fear. No anger. Only forward. I wrote one final line in the notebook, "Today I reclaim myself." Then I closed it and stepped into the day. This is only beginning. I scrolled through my phone and said, "Let's see how perfect life looks now." Mark leaned over. "Don't torture yourself." "I'm not torturing. I'm observing." He raised an eyebrow. "Observing her life?" "Yes. Social media never lies. Completely." I clicked on Maddie's profile. The photos were bright, filtered, smiling faces, but the comments told a different story. Someone wrote, "Are you okay?" I whispered, "Looks like she isn't." Mark said, "Good. Not your problem." I typed, "Exactly." Later at work, Jason said, "You checking your phone again?" I replied, "Just noticing patterns." "You mean stalking?" "No. Learning." He smirked. "Interesting hobby." "I call it strategy." Lena came by. "You're quiet today." "I'm noticing karma in motion." "You sound like a villain now." "I prefer observer." She laughed. "Fair enough." That night I opened a spreadsheet. Income, steps, projects completed. I whispered, "I'm documenting myself, not her." Mark texted, "How's Maddie's empire?" I typed back, "Cracking." Next morning a coworker said, "Alex, your promotion is official." I smiled. "Thank you." Jason muttered, "Lucky." Hard work, not luck, I said. Later, I ran past the park where I first started. Feels good, I said. My lungs burned. My muscles ached. I laughed quietly. This is victory, Mark called. You're glowing. I'm noticing everything, I said. Like what? She's posting brunch pictures with him. And? She's smiling, but her eyes, I scrolled. I can see the tension. Mark shook his head. Karma's subtle. Exactly. The next day Lena said, you're becoming dangerous. I'm just learning observation. You sound happy. Better than happy. Balanced. Jason leaned against my desk. Ever think she might come back? Let her, I said. I won't be the same man. He laughed. Wise choice. That evening I saw Maddie in a local cafe through the window. She waved at Tyler awkwardly. He frowned. You're overreacting. I whispered, she's losing control. Mark texted, enjoying the view? I typed, lessons everywhere. Next week my boss said, the board noticed your performance. I said, I appreciate it. They want you leading the new project. I'll take it. Jason muttered, this will be fun. I plan to learn, I said. Lena said, you've changed. I'm noticing life more carefully. She smiled. And karma? Unfolding beautifully. Later that night I scrolled again. Maddie posted a story with a strained laugh. Tyler rolled his eyes. Comments? Are you okay? I whispered, she can't hide everything. Mark said, you sound proud. I am. Not of her downfall. Of noticing patterns. You're like a hawk. I prefer a mirror, I said, reflecting my growth. The next morning at the gym I lifted heavier weights. I feel unstoppable, I said. Jason grunted nearby. You're scary confident. Better, I said. I'm alive. I ran 5 miles afterward. Lena texted, you're glowing again. I replied, feels like balance. Later I saw Maddie's friend post a photo of her arguing quietly with Tyler. She tried to smile, but I saw her frustration. I whispered, even empires crack. Mark called. You're still observing? Yes. But not obsessing. That's progress. I think I finally understand, I said. Karma isn't loud. It's slow, subtle, inevitably precise. Mark laughed. Poetic. I'm just noticing it, I said. The week ended. I looked at my reflection after a run. My chest was strong. My posture straight. My phone buzzed. Maddie's story, another forced smile, another unnoticed argument. I whispered, I rise, she falls. Naturally. Mark texted, good work. I typed, better than I imagined. That night I closed my notebook and said aloud, patterns teach more than anger. I lay in bed and whispered, I am reclaiming peace. Sleep came easy. For once, observation wasn't poison. It was clarity. The next day I ran past the cafe again. Maddie glanced, he frowned. I smiled faintly. I whispered, I am steady. I am stronger. I am free. I felt it in my chest. Control, calm, balance. Karma didn't need me to act. I had survived and that was enough. I woke to a text from Lena, coffee later? I typed back, sure. She replied, see you in 20. I got dressed, still tired but alive. Mark called. You okay? I think so. You're smiling. I am. Nervous. About what? Meeting her. Relax. She's Lena. I laughed. Good point. At the cafe Lena waved. Hey. You look different today. Stronger? She smiled. More balanced. I like it. I ordered coffee. Thanks. You're welcome. How's the new project? Challenging but good. See? Growth. I keep noticing patterns. Like Maddie? I froze. Something like that. She tilted her head. You're still cautious. I am. Smart. But you also deserve peace. She nodded. And maybe someone new. I looked down. I don't know if I'm ready. Alex, you survived her. And I want to survive loving again. She reached across. Then try. I swallowed. I don't want to hurt myself. You won't. I won't let you. Later I ran past the park. My mind replayed her words. I won't let you. Mark texted, feeling soft. I typed, trying. At work, Jason leaned against my desk. So, anything new? What do you mean? You seem distracted. I am focusing elsewhere. He laughed. You're hiding something. I'm growing. Funny growth. I ignored him. That night Lena came over. Wine. Yes. She poured. You look tense. Thinking. About her? Lena, it's complicated. I get complicated. I don't want Maddie to haunt me. You won't let her. She smiled. Exactly. That's why I'm here. I leaned back. It's new. Feeling safe with someone. You deserve it. I keep asking myself if I can trust again. You survived betrayal. You can survive trust. The next morning my phone buzzed. Maddie, we need to talk. I froze. Mark called. Problem? She's back. Why answer? I won't. Not today. At the cafe Lena asked, something wrong? Old ghosts. Want to talk? No. I'm choosing now. She smiled. Good. That afternoon Jason muttered, ever think she'll come back? Let her try, I said. I've changed. You're confident. I am. Careful but strong. At home Lena joined me for dinner. You've grown. I've learned. About what? Peace matters more than revenge. You sound lighter. I am. A knock at the door. Maddie. My chest tightened. I need to explain, she said. I don't need it, I said. She stepped closer. You can't deny what we had. I can. And I don't. You're cold? I'm aware. Strong enough to be cold now. She paused. I didn't realize. Too late. She left. I closed the door and whispered, I am free. Lena hugged me. You're steady? I am. And I choose this. Later we walked in the park. It feels easy, I said. Because it is, she said. I still think about her sometimes. That's normal. But I don't crave her anymore. Good. I crave this. Peace with you. Her hand brushed mine. Then take it. I smiled. I will. The next day I lifted heavier at the gym. Jason grunted, you're unstoppable. I'm just steady, I said. At work, the board congratulated me again. Alex, impressive results. Thank you, I said. Lena texted during lunch, thinking of you. I typed back, me too. That evening I painted. Lena sat nearby sipping wine. You're relaxed. I am. Focused on the future, not the past. You've healed. I'm learning. Later, lying in bed, I whispered, I am ready to love again. Lena's hand reached for mine through a text. We'll see. I smiled faintly. Yes, we will see. Tomorrow I knew would be about peace, not revenge. About love, not fear. About living, not surviving. And for the first time, my heart felt steady, capable, and alive. I saw it first on social media. Mark leaned over my shoulder. She's posting again? Yes. Smiling but not really, I said. Looks the same. Only looks, I said. The cracks show if you notice. He raised an eyebrow. You notice a lot. I pay attention. Later at the office, Jason muttered, Alex, did you see what she said about the new project? I did. And it's wrong, I said. You're worried about her? No. Just noting patterns. Lena whispered at lunch, she's making enemies fast. I see it, I said. And I can't help but notice. She'll learn, she said. Maybe, I said, stirring my coffee. Or maybe karma does the teaching. That evening, a friend tagged Maddie in a comment. Trust isn't earned overnight. I laughed softly. That's exactly what I thought. Mark texted, enjoying the view? I typed back, more like taking notes. 2 days later at the grocery store, I spotted her across the aisle. She smiled wide and practiced. Alex, she said. Hi, Maddie. I miss seeing you, she said, tilting her head. I'm glad you're happy, I said calmly. She stepped closer. I wanted to explain myself. Things got messy. I noticed, I said, voice steady. Seems messy is the understatement. Her eyes flickered. You're cold? I'm aware. I've learned calm is stronger than anger. She laughed nervously. I didn't think you'd survive it. I did more than survive, I said. I moved on. Her confidence faltered. She looked away then back. You're different. Yes, I said. I am. She smiled faintly, uncertain. Maybe we could talk sometime? I don't think that's necessary, I said. Her smile faded. Alex? I held up my hand. No. I learned silence speaks louder than words. I walked past her. She didn't follow. At work, whispers spread. Jason said, she's losing grip. I noticed, I said. Feels good. Mixed, I admitted. Satisfaction, yes. But melancholy too. Lena raised her eyebrows. Why melancholy? Because someone who hurt me is unraveling. And yet, I paused. I don't wish her harm. I just noticed the consequences. She nodded. Silent revenge is stronger than confrontation. Yes, I said. Exactly. That night Mark called. She posted again. Look strained. Not strained enough to be obvious, I said. But those who look closely see it. You're calm, he said. Almost serene. I am. Observation teaches patience. The next morning I ran through the park. My chest burned, my legs ached, but my mind was light. Lena texted, thinking of her yet? I typed back, only to notice her cracks, not feel them. At lunch, Jason leaned over. You're enjoying karma. I'm observing it, I said. Enjoying feels messy. Later, a colleague said, she tried to spread rumors about you today. I know, I said calmly. And it backfired. She's losing credibility fast, Lena said. Yes, I said. And I'm learning that silence works better than confrontation. That evening, Maddie tagged me in a story, remember the good times? I ignored it. Mark texted, she tried. I typed back, too late. Next day at the cafe I saw her again. This time she tried a soft smile, leaning slightly. Alex, she said. Hi, I said. Can we? No, I interrupted gently. I've moved past it. Calmly. Silently. Fully. Her expression faltered. I could see the realization hit. My transformation was undeniable. I left. She stayed behind, hesitating, unsure how to approach someone who had grown beyond her reach. At the park that evening I met Lena. She's fading, she said. Yes, I replied. But I don't celebrate. I notice. Karma is precise. She smiled. You've changed so much. I had to. And it's only the beginning, I said. Later I checked my phone. Maddie's posts reflected frustration, strained laughter, small missteps. Friends and colleagues began questioning her character. I whispered softly, I don't need revenge. Nature of consequences is enough. Mark texted, proud of your patience. I typed, it's more than patience. It's growth. I ran again feeling light, free. The world moves on, patterns repeat. And I realized that watching someone who once held power falter while I rose quietly was a lesson in restraint, strength, and subtle victory. By nightfall, I looked at the skyline and whispered, silence speaks louder than confrontation. I've learned that. I went home, chest steady, mind calm, and for the first time, satisfaction and melancholy balanced perfectly. I woke before sunrise, chest tight with anticipation. Mark called immediately. Morning, survivor. I feel ready, I said. Good. You sound unstoppable. I think I am. At the gym, Jason grunted beside me. You're lifting heavier. I am, I said. Feels different now. Confidence. Strength, I said. Not just muscles. Later, Lena texted, coffee later? I'll meet you, I typed. At the cafe, Lena waved. Morning. Morning, I said. You look radiant. Thanks. You're glowing yourself. I feel grounded, I said. Good. You earned it. I sipped my coffee. I think about the past sometimes. You mean Maddie? Yes, but not with anger. Observation now. She tilted her head. And? I learned silence is stronger than confrontation. She smiled. I've seen it firsthand. Later at work the manager called. Alex, the board noticed your performance. Promotion confirmed. Thank you, I said. Jason muttered, you're climbing fast. Steady, I said. Not rushing. Mark texted, she tried reaching you yet? I typed, not today. That evening my phone buzzed. Maddie. Alex, please, I need to talk. I stared. Heart raced briefly. Then I whispered, not anymore. I didn't reply. Lena came over. Someone bothering you? Maddie, I said. Did she hurt you? Not anymore. I'm untouchable now. She smiled. Good. You should be. We walked in the park, hands brushing lightly. Feels right, I said. Because it is, she said. At home, I sorted documents for work and glanced at my fitness journal. Chest swelling with pride, I whispered, I've built this, all of it. Mark called. You're steady. Impressive. I had help, I said. And I observed. Carefully. Later Jason said, you're unstoppable now. I feel free, I said. And aware. That's stronger than anything. Night fell. Maddie called again. I let it ring. Mark texted, "Good call." I replied, "I've moved on." Next morning, I ran past the park where I first rebuilt myself. My legs strong, lungs steady. I whispered, "Every step mattered." Lena texted, "Meet after work?" "Yes," I typed. At work, the manager said, "Board is impressed with your leadership." "I appreciate it," I said. Jason leaned over. "You're different now." "Yes," I said. Focused. Calm. Unbreakable. That evening, Lena and I cooked dinner together. "You're glowing," she said. "I am," I said. "Because I know who matters. You, Mark, Jason, those who stayed." She laughed softly. "And the rest?" "I let the rest go," I said. Later, Maddie texted again, "Alex, don't you care?" I read it silently. My chest tightened briefly, then relaxed. I whispered, "No. I care about peace, not chaos." I closed the phone. Lena's hand reached for mine. "You're home," she said. "I am," I said. Next morning, I climbed to the rooftop of my building. City lights below, streets glowing, wind brushing my face. Chest rising, heart steady. Mark called, "Feeling high?" "Yes," I said. "And grounded, strong, free." Jason texted, "Congrats on everything." I smiled. "Thanks. Learned from everything." Lena appeared on the rooftop. "Beautiful view." "Yes," I said. "But better, knowing I built my life, not waiting for someone else to fix it." She smiled, brushing hair from her face. "You've grown." "I had to," I said. Betrayal taught me strength, patience, observation. Maddie had tried to manipulate me one last time. I walked away. Firm. Composed. Untouchable. I spread my arms slightly. The wind lifted my jacket. I whispered, "I rise from ashes. Stronger, calm, alive." Lena stood beside me, quiet support. "You earned this." "Yes," I said. "And I'll keep earning it." The city lights shimmered, echoing the life I had rebuilt. Career, friendships, love, health, and self-worth. Mark called again. "Pride level?" "Full," I said. "But balanced." Jason sent a thumbs-up emoji. I laughed quietly. Even he gets it. I looked down at the streets, remembered the heartbreak, the betrayal, the pain. I whispered, "Everything taught me. Nothing broke me." Lena squeezed my hand. "This is your moment." "Yes," I said. "My moment, my life, my peace." I closed my eyes. Wind brushing my face, chest steady, lungs filling with air. I opened my eyes, looking over the city skyline. I whispered softly, "I am untouchable. I am alive. I am free." For the first time, everything aligned. Silence, strength, growth, and love that mattered. The rest faded. And from that rooftop, I finally felt whole. I heard it first from Mark. "She's losing friends fast." "Really?" I asked, stirring my coffee. "Yes. Social posts are falling apart. People are noticing." I nodded slowly. Not surprised. Actions have consequences. "She's reaching out again," he added. I sighed. "Ignore it. I already have." Later, Lena called. "You okay?" "I am," I said. "Calm. Observing." "Good. She won't bother you again?" "Not if I don't let her." At work, Jason leaned over. "Alex, rumor has it Maddie's credibility is shot." "Finally," I said softly. "But I don't celebrate. Observation is enough." "You're serene," he said. "I've learned calm is stronger than satisfaction," I replied. During lunch, Lena joined me. "You look lighter." "I feel it," I said. "The past, fading." "You're thriving," she said. "I am," I admitted. "And I've realized what matters. People who stayed, who support me. You, Mark, Jason." She smiled. "And me?" "Especially you," I said. That evening, my phone buzzed. "Maddie. Alex, please. I regret everything." I read it, chest tightening briefly. Then I whispered, "Not anymore." I deleted the message. Calm replaced any flicker of hurt. Mark called. "You didn't reply?" "No," I said. "Silence is my answer." Later, Lena came over. "She's trying?" "Yes," I said. "But I've grown too strong to be affected." She held my hand. "I like this version of you." "I like it too," I said. Peaceful, steady, aware. A week passed. I saw posts. Maddie's public missteps, her social circle questioning her, colleagues doubting her stories. I whispered softly, "Karma is precise." Jason texted, "Enjoying the view?" I typed back, only observing. At the park, Lena and I walked, hands brushing, smiles soft. Feels right, I said. Because it is, she said. I never thought betrayal could teach so much, I admitted. It does, she said. If you let it. I have, I said. And I've learned to forgive without weakness, to rise without vengeance. She squeezed my hand. You've grown. Yes, I said. And it feels powerful. That night I painted. Lena sipped wine nearby. You're calm? I am, I said. I've built a life, a world where trust matters and chaos doesn't control me. You're free, she said. I am, I said. Mark texted, update, she's isolated now. I typed, I know. I don't need revenge. At work, Jason muttered, you're untouchable now. I feel that way, I said. Not arrogant. Just aware. Lena leaned against me later. It's amazing seeing you like this. I finally understand, I said. Strength isn't fighting back. It's standing tall while the storm passes. A week later, Maddie sent another message. I wish I could undo everything. I read it, then deleted. My chest was steady. Calm satisfaction settled in. At night, Lena and I climbed the rooftop. The city lights glimmered below. Chest rising, wind brushing my face. This view, she said softly. Yes, I said. But better, knowing I built this myself. Trust earned, life regained. She smiled. You've healed. I have, I said. And I'll continue. Betrayal taught me to observe, to forgive, to rise. She squeezed my hand. And love. I choose love, I said, glancing at her. With honesty, trust, and calm. Mark called from below. Feeling accomplished? Yes, I said. But it's more than accomplishment. It's awareness. Peace. Jason sent a thumbs up emoji. I smiled quietly. Even he gets it. Later, lying on the rooftop, wind brushing my face, I whispered, I don't need to fight, to prove, to retaliate. I'm free, steady, and alive. Lena rested her head on my shoulder. You've earned it. Yes, I said softly. And so have we, together. The city lights shimmered, reflections of the journey I'd survived. Betrayal, heartbreak, growth, and finally, calm victory. I closed my eyes. Chest steady. Lungs full. Heart open. Silent victory. Not loud. Not boastful. Perfectly mine. And in that quiet I felt whole.